This Monday, April 1st, NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em game for a chance to win 100x in NBA, NHL, MLB, college basketball, and more. Sign up today using promo code NBA SGPN to get a 100% deposit match. And we're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Monday, April the 1st, currently 11:15 on the East Coast. Here to recap what we saw in the association over the weekend and get into the 6-game schedule in the NBA on Monday night. And joining me here to help me break everything down, you guys know him as the superstar of the show. It's the villain himself. It's Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Not much, Munaf. We're good. We may have figured out the microphone issues. I don't know if that's 100% solved. We're not going to touch. It's working right now. We're not going to touch anything. We're going to leave it alone. But recap the weekend. I mean, the weekend. It's really not the weekend. It's really the morning. And hopefully, nobody's playing a joke on us. This isn't serious. But Joel Embiid could return tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games. If we go off of Asia Wilson, 10 games to get back in game shape. 7. Okay. It's pretty all right. I'm going to tell you what right now. After watching the Boston Celtics over the course of the weekend, or I guess during the week, because that was technically during the week when they had that monstrosity against the Hawks. No Doc Rivers to blow it this time. No James Harden to blow it this time. If Joel Embiid's healthy, if they pull out and get the 8 seed, with Twitter would just destroy itself if Boston went out the first round. I don't even know how. I don't know if I can make it through the rest of the playoffs, honestly. Like that's like getting the climax of the movie in the first 5 minutes. That's like in Game of Thrones when Ned Stark died in the first season. Oh man, that's like that. People are gonna be hurt. People are gonna be sick. Hey, but that's my pick. Philly's still my pick to make it out the East as long as Joel Embiid is healthy. So let's see, man. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was looking at the futures, and Nick Nurse said this last week. I think Scott and myself talked about it on the Thursday show last week, and he said that he was close to returning, so we thought it would be sometime, this week, and to get him some games under his belt to kind of get the rust off and get up to speed and get his conditioning in, and like you mentioned, right, about 7 games left for the Sixers. We'll see if he plays in all 7, but I think this is a good time right now for Embiid to come back. I'm sure they're going to manage his minutes. But right now, you could get Philly 30-1 to win the title, 13-1 to come out of the East. So I think this would be the time, right? If you're a believer in the Philadelphia 76ers to get down on their futures right now. And
whoa.
What happened?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You were saying something so good, and I just interrupted. This is why people hate me. I had nothing to contribute towards the topic. I'm just gonna post the comment and then keep it going.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not in that camp of what Cape Quest is saying, but I think I got 3 seasons into it. It just wasn't for me. But my wife is a huge, her and her sisters are huge Game of Thrones fans. But anyways, I think right now is the ideal time if you believe in the Sixers to get down on their futures right now. Like I mentioned, 30-1 to win the title, 13-1 to win the Eastern Conference right now with Joel Embiid coming back for the Sixers. That was pretty much the news as of this morning. The weekend, I watched some basketball. Rockets win streak, over Luka Doncic just went absolute berserk yesterday. I was watching the game. Sooner or later had to come to an end. I mean, that was absolutely, he was
A
just out there
layup from
playing
the
fours.
3. Ooh, there we
Yeah,
go.
just casually.
Let's just throw the ball in the basket, and it works. Saying, "Wow, I'm so good at basketball," but because my team is horribly constructed, I'm not going to do anything. I mean,
Um,
they might make. I mean, they've been playing a little bit better defense. I'll give them that. They've been
yeah.
playing slightly better defense, so they might be able to make a little run. I would love to see Luca back in the Western Conference Finals. I think Luca going through a playoff run is fun. It's just the Mavs are never good enough.
Yeah, I know we talked about the two moves that they made as well to get Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, to give them some type of depth. But I think that right now, I think we're all going to be paying attention to who ends up in that play-in tournament bracket, especially in the Western Conference, because right now, 2 games separate the Pelicans and the Kings. Kings, Suns, Lakers, Warriors are pretty much in that play-in tournament bracket right now. It seems like either we're not going to have a playoffs of a LeBron James,
Mhm.
Kevin Durant, or Steph Curry this season if the season ended today. So we'll see what transpires here. Anything else that caught your eye over the weekend before we get into the games?
Yeah, Josh Hart. We would be, lucky if we get not Joel, but Julius Randle and OG Anunoby back. So, the same handicap that I had for the Philadelphia 76ers is the same handicap that I have for the New York Knicks and why I thought the New York Knicks could make it. But if you're telling me that you're not expecting, and I know, Josh Hart isn't the medical examiner or anything, but he's pretty locked into that team. He's a very big voice on that team. So if Josh Hart's saying that we don't think that we're getting, our guys back,
Mm-hmm.
that this is a different roster without Julius Randle to add another scoring option and without OG defensively to pick up the other team's best player. Like I thought that this team is a team that could make it to an Eastern Conference Finals and potentially in an NBA Finals, but not if those two guys are out. So we'll keep eyes on the Knicks for the rest of the season. But if this is the roster going into the playoffs, I don't think they're going far.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, for sure, for the New York Knicks. I mean, yeah, this looks like the guys are starting to get healthy again. I mean, SGA was out there for a couple games, but he came back in Madison Square Garden last night, put on a masterful performance. So right now, I think the key for all these teams is number one, keeping their guys healthy and also getting guys back that have been out for some time with injuries. So we're kind of getting to that range now where 7 games left for most of these teams, and just getting ready for the playoff run in that play-in tournament bracket. You know, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be starting in about 2 weeks here. So definitely excited for that. All right, Terrell, before we get into the games here for tonight, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Cut. Hey, Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is a new and better way to bet. Bet directly against your friends or other users on sports, politics, pop culture, and other events with verifiable outcomes. And there's tons of fun social features that give it a feel of a betting social network. Cut offers lower vig and fully customizable odds to create your own bets. Cut even handles the payment side of things, so you never have to chase anyone down for money. Social features includes group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, fan groups, and more. They also have a rewards program. You can get cash back every single time you bet against your friends or other users. Download Cut today in the App Store or at cut.com. That's Kutt, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. If you can play their pick'em game, you can pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower total in this week's games, and you can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Stay tuned at the end of the episode. Terrell and I will put together our Underdog Fantasy entry here for the Monday night schedule. Sign up today with promo code NBA SGPN and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 as well as an instant pick'em special. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com, find them in the App Store, and don't forget to register with our promo code NBA SGPN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, Charles, let's get into the games here for tonight. 6-game schedule in the association. We'll lead off here with your favorite team in the association, the Boston Celtics. They are in Charlotte here tonight to take on the Hornets. Currently, as it stands, Celtics are a 17-point road favorite here with a total of 219. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, we'll start here with the road team, the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are uh, pretty healthy here, but again, got some questionable tags here with Jalen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis. For the Charlotte Hornets, they did play yesterday against the LA Clippers, so they are on a back-to-back situation here. But 17 is the ultimate tricky number this season in the NBA as far as spreads go, at least for the Boston Celtics, Terrell, because we've seen them favored by around 17 points twice, and they've lost, I think, 3 times outright. But what are you thinking about this game?
uh, yeah. I mean, I'm not taking Boston. I mean, I don't care how bad the situation is. I'm just not gonna take them. I don't trust this team. I've been what is it since 2020? So it's been a good time, even though you know how bad Charlotte is. I think that hey, it could be a letdown spot. They're not looking past it. They're not looking forward to this team. They already have the 1 seed locked up. If you listen to them, they said the reason that they got killed by the Hawks is because they were testing out some new defensive coverages, and they were just using the game as a filler. They weren't really trying at all. So, I mean, maybe they're not trying here either. 17.5 point favorites. I don't know if I'd be trying either. So, it Hornets plus 17.5, like whatever, bro. I'm not even worried about this team. And maybe it's a look ahead spot. They got the Thunder on deck on Wednesday. That's going to be a pretty big game, a nice little litmus test game. So yeah, whatever. I'll take the Hornets plus 17.5, of course. Casey backing me with the stats. Since March 2023, the Boston Celtics are 0-5 ATS when favored by 12 or more, and I bet on them. Wow. I didn't know that's where that was going. I should have read the whole thing first. Casey's hilarious. No, but that's literally how I felt about the Celtics in 2020. That's literally how I felt about the Celtics in 2020. And I was just like, you know what? I'm never betting this team again. They cannot be trusted. And in their brightest moment, they go dark. So Hornets plus 17.5, slow paced game, defensive game. They handle business.
Yeah, I'm not laying 17 with the Celtics. I got burned in that second game where they played Atlanta, thinking that they would bounce back nicely, but didn't happen. So, and like you mentioned, right, as bad as this Charlotte team is right now with all the injuries that they have to deal with over the course of the season, I mean, I don't think the motivation is going to really be there for the Boston Celtics. Maybe it's in there in the first half, and it's the same movie that they come out first half, look great, and then they let their opponent back in the second half. But I think Charlotte is playing with some type of pride because they were pretty competitive in that game last night against the Clippers, at least early on. I know they lost the game, I think, by double digits. But I say all that to agree with you here, to be on the Charlotte Hornets here plus 17. Can the Boston Celtics win by 30? Sure. But I mean, like Casey even pointed out, since March of 2023, favored by 12.5 points or more, 0-5 ATS. So let's keep it simple, Charlotte.
No, he's got to bet on him. So Casey has to bet on him today for the play to work.
There you go. All right, so plus 17.
Casey, don't screw us. Don't screw us. You could take the L and we can all win. I do it sometimes. You can do it too.
Yeah, 100%. You already mentioned you like the under in this game here, Terrell. I'm there with you. I think that if
I don't even, well, I do think it's a slow paced game. I don't know if I'm getting all the way down on the under because Charlotte also really, really bad defensively. So it's like, is this a slow paced game? Yes. Hopefully the defense picks up because it's a slow paced game and they're in the half court. They can set down in the half court sets, but I'm not going near the total. I'm not going near the total.
All right, fair enough. Player props. Anything you're looking at?
All right, let's see here. Well, you start your centers against the Celtics, so I guess Nick Richards has to have a good game. But I don't know. Some centers, I can't trust Nick Richards, so I can't even play that. I saw somebody in the chat talking about Brandon Miller. Of course, we're gonna take Brandon Miller. Yeah, Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller. He's been really good. Been really good. They've been giving him the green light. He's been taking a bunch of shots. I think he'll have a pretty solid game. And what's the point guard name again?
The European player. I don't want to butcher his name, but Mikitic. I don't know.
No, it's been a while since I watched the actual Charlotte broadcast. But Over 6.5 assists. He's been really good towards the assists recently. That's a play that I'm looking at, especially if this does become, a blowout and they're just going out there scoring points with no defensive resistance at all. He'll probably get his 6.5 assists. So I could look there as well, but not too many plays in this game for me.
Yeah, Brandon Miller was the one that Lante mentioned over his points. It's at 18.5. Miles Bridges at 20.5, which is interesting to me. But Brandon Miller's been playing real well since the All-Star break, we can say. Last 5 games, he's averaging 20 points per game. He's gone over this number of 18.5 in 3 out of the last 4 games for the Charlotte Hornets, and he also obviously is getting the minutes played as well. So that's a great look there that Lante mentioned. Maybe it's 3-point props if you want to get on that as well. Nick Richards rebounds, maybe you want to look at. I know offensively it's a crapshoot there, but I think that he can rebound the basketball here well for the Charlotte Hornets. So I would look at that here tonight for as far as player props on the Charlotte side. You have anything else for this game?
No, let's go.
All right, next game on the board, we've got the Brooklyn Nets. They are in Indiana here tonight to take on the Pacers. Pacers are a 12.5-point home favorite here with a total of 227. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, let's start here with the Indiana Pacers. They are pretty clean injury report. Obviously, we know Benedict Mathurin is done for the season. Brooklyn, another team that did play on Sunday against the Lakers. And they let LeBron get a career high 9 3-pointers made, a 40-piece there for LeBron. And now they have to travel to take on the Indiana Pacers in this game as a 12.5-point road underdog here. Terrell, what do you think about this game?
Who's playing in this game? Why is this?
So let's see who played last night for the Brooklyn Nets.
Like, who did I miss something?
Let's see here. So Miles Bridges, Nick Claxton, Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith. Cam Thomas played 35 minutes. Miles Bridges played 38 minutes. Rest of the starters played 28 or less minutes. Trendon Watford off the bench played 29 minutes. And Cam Johnson played 20 minutes.
I'm just trying to figure out line greater than or less than 10, -10. Well, I guess they're pretty all right when they get in double digits and they handle business. Pacers 4-1 straight up when laying 10 or more points, 4-1 ATS this season, 1-4 to the over. 3 of those games at home, 2 of those games on the road. It goes under and they cover the line. The only team that they didn't cover was not the first game of the season, but the first time they were laying 10 in the season against the Portland Trailblazers. After that, they covered against Charlotte twice. They covered it against the Pistons twice. Now you have the Nets. Are the Nets as bad as the Hornets and the Pistons?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, they had a stretch there where they won.
And they're at
3 games in a
home.
row.
And the Pacers are at home. So
Yeah.
if the Pacers defense goes back to being shit at home, like how much are they giving up at home this season? Like if it goes back to being a shit like it is at home and they constantly go over, why is Brooklyn not in this game?
So Pacers are home are giving up 120.6 points per game. But let me see how they do after All-Star break. I mean, it's a little bit better where their defense has improved. 115 points they're giving up. And they're 14-5 towards the under since All-Star break, which is interesting.
So they have to 115 points, 12.5. What's that? So you're almost at 130. Is Brooklyn bad enough to give up 130?
No, they'd be at 120-ish. Well, yeah, 120.5 for the Pacers, yeah. And it's 106.5 for the Nets. Team totals.
Well, I'm definitely taking the over 106.5 for the Nets. That's happening.
Okay.
That's happening. I'm fading the Pacers team at home where they just give up points, whether they're up big or whether they don't care. They just give up points. I'll fade that. So I'll take the Brooklyn Nets over 106.5 off the back to back. Give me the Nets plus 12.5. I think this is a little bit too much. Yeah, Pacers been a little. Brooklyn's still somewhat fighting for a playoff spot too, I guess. I'll take Brooklyn plus 12.5. I don't think it gets that out of control.
So these two teams play again on Wednesday night in Brooklyn. So I think I'm going to lean here with the Pacers just again because the Nets are on that back-to-back situation, knowing that hey, we could get our revenge back on Wednesday night at home for the Brooklyn Nets. Well, they will be catching points, right? Because obviously 12.5 here, you
Mhm.
flip that, maybe they're a 6.5 point favorite on the road. Are the Pacers in that game? So I think the Pacers here, they take advantage here, at least the team being on the back-to-back situation. And like you mentioned, right, they've been pretty good as far as laying double digits. Have the Pacers, where traditionally they haven't been, but I think that this is a good spot for them, just having the rest advantage in this game. And then if they do blow out the Nets here tonight, then I'll take the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday. But as far as tonight, give me the Pacers here minus the 12.5.
I just think Brooklyn's been
Um,
a little bit more competitive. I think they've been a
yeah,
little. Let me see here. When's the
I
last
mean,
time
the
they?
three teams that they beat were the Raptors, the Wizards, and the Bulls. I don't know how much we want to take away from that.
But then they still covered. They would have covered this number against the Knicks. They would have covered this number against the Lakers.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh, I just it's not jiving. Yeah, they would have covered against Knicks, would have covered against the Lakers. They would not have covered against New Orleans, and they would not have covered against Indiana back on the 16th where they lost by 21. And I
Yeah.
think this is where this is stemming off of. But I'm just gonna ask Indiana to do it again. So yeah.
Anything else on the total? I know you mentioned the Nets team total over, but anything else as far as full game total, maybe?
Mm, no, I'm going to the over. Indiana at home. I'm just gonna keep it going. Indiana at home, take the over. Indiana on the road, take the under.
All right. Player props. What are you looking at?
Claxton should have a pretty solid day rebounding.
Yeah, let me see how he's done.
If I think that somebody from Brooklyn is going to score, who is it going to be?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is probably Cam Thomas, just because of the volume that he gets up.
Mm-hmm. But I could be talking into Cam Johnson threes coming off the bench if he plays. We'll see what the injury report is. I got to see an injury report, but I could get behind, especially if somebody's out. I can get behind some scoring on the Nets today. I just think this is a weird, awkward game where you get into the end of the season. Indiana doesn't have to run away with this game, and we get a backdoor cover here from the Nets.
Cam Thomas in the game back on March 16th between these two teams had 22 points. You mentioned Cam Johnson, 27 points. 27 minutes in that game, 4 of 11 from the floor, but 3 of 7 from 3-point line. He had 14 points in that game. Don't see a prop listed for him just yet, but I think that could be a good look here for Cam Johnson here for tonight. Claxton rebounds are at 9.5. I think that is definitely worth a look. He had 10 in that game back on March 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Then last time he played him was in the 2022 season, where he had 11 rebounds, and then the prior two head-to-head meetings, 9 rebounds and 9 rebounds. So maybe from play double-double for Nick Claxton, that might be worth a look here for tonight. Anything else you got?
No, I'm good.
All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule here for tonight, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Hall of Fame Bets. Hey, win bigger by betting smarter this NBA season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NBA and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bet. All right, Charlie, let's keep it rolling here, my man. Next game on the schedule, we'll go over to the game between the Portland Trailblazers. They are in Orlando here tonight to take on the Magic. Currently, as it stands, the Orlando Magic are a 16-point home favorite with a total of 210.5. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams here, I'll start here with the Portland Trailblazers. I think it might just be better if I just read the starting lineup, the projected starting lineup here, because they are entering that Memphis Grizzlies injury report here. So let's see. All right. So for the Portland Trailblazers, starters are going to be Scoot Henderson, Ryan Rupert, Chris Humphrey, Jabari Walker, and DeAndre Ayton.
Hey, bro, what year are you in? You are such an old head, bro.
What?
You don't even realize what you said.
What
Did
I
anybody
say?
in the chat hear that? Did anybody in the chat hear that? I know somebody in the chat heard that. Bro,
What did I
you are
say?
so old.
What did I say?
Say the starting lineup again. What's the starting lineup?
I probably look. I will be the first one to admit that I am the worst with these names. So you're probably gonna have to correct me.
Bro. You said Chris Humphrey, bro. You said Chris Humphrey, bro. You said Chris Humphrey. Like, that's insane, bro. Chris Humphrey. I don't care.
Oh my god,
Chris Humphrey.
Chris Murray. Oh my god, Chris Humphrey.
Anybody's talking about Chris Humphrey? Yo. Hey, yo.
Oh my bad. All right, Chris Murray.
Chris Humphrey was on your mind today, man.
I don't know, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Chris Murray. Oh, apologies about that. Chris Murray, Jabari Walker, DeAndre Ayton. For the Orlando Magic.
Hey, where's our team, man? We got to get Chris Humphrey picture on the graphic today. We got to change the graphic up. We get whoever we had up there. Let's switch it up. Let's put Chris Humphrey up there.
Oh my god. Let me reach out to Kohler, see if he can make that change for us. Orlando Magic, pretty clean injury report. Guys that are on, they're on two-way deals. So since I read their starting lineup, Jalen Suggs. Now you got me double checking what I'm reading here. Jalen Suggs, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. are your starters here. Another huge spread here, Terrell, 16 in favor of the Orlando Magic hosting the Portland Trailblazers. What do you think?
Well, he got drafted in 2004. That's an old head. Braun is an old head. He's an old head. Yeah, drafted in 2004.
I was a sophomore in high school.
It feels like forever ago that he got married to to Kim Kardashian. That's why it feels so long, because they were married for like a month. All right, man. What are we? The Chris Humphrey thing just threw me all the way off. I'm not. I mean, I got cute. I'm getting cute with taking Charlotte and taking Brooklyn today. I'm not gonna do it with Portland. Orlando needs to get right game. Orlando needs to get right game. And they handle business, and I think it's because they handle business against Memphis. That kind of reminds me that there's a level to this Orlando team. Like, they're gonna get so far. Like, this is a young team that's a good team, talented. They have a good head coach, but it's only so far you're gonna get without that veteran star, like not just a veteran, but a veteran star to kind of help take the ball in pressure situations, keep everybody going, keep defenses set, all of that. So Orlando's fun, but in this pressure, like, this is the pressure part of the season where you need to put together some good string of wins to get yourself into playoff positioning. They lost Sacramento, lost Golden State, lost to the Clippers, all who had playoff experience, all who know now understand what it takes to get to this point in April, play good basketball going into the playoffs. Memphis doesn't have anybody any resistance. Trailblazers doesn't have anybody any resistance. I think they're going to absolutely steamroll them like they did over Memphis. So give me Magic laying 18.
Yeah, I mean, typically when we see the Magic at home, that if they're winning the game, they're covering the spread, right? I've said that thing multiple times. Anytime we're talking about the Magic at home, 26-11 straight up, 25-12 against the spread. They are 22-14-1 towards the under. So if you want to take a look at a Portland team total under. I mean, Orlando has been one of the better defensive teams
Mhm.
the entire association, especially at home here. So, yeah, I think you're 100% correct. See something similar here to what we saw with that game against the Memphis Grizzlies for this Orlando Magic team. So, and it seems like they just beat up on lesser opponents, and I think this is one of those games where they do that again. So,
Mhm.
over the last 5 games, Orlando number 3 in defensive rating, positive net rating of excuse me plus 7.3, which ranks number 8 over the last 5 games. So, I do expect Orlando to roll here. Maybe if you take a look at them in the first half, get in with your money and get out. Because we've talked about at the beginning of the season how great the Orlando Magic were in the first half of games, especially at home. So couldn't fault you either way if you wanted to go first half or full game for the Orlando Magic. Total sitting at 210.5 in this game here. Terrell, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, give me the Atlanta Magic team total over. The defense for the Trailblazers, it's been shit.
Mhm.
They're giving up about 122 points per game, second last in the NBA over the past 5 games. Orlando team total, at least I'll back it at home here, and I'll back it at home, and just same thing that they did with Memphis. They're able to just control the game and put up a bunch of points, score a bunch of points. Don't let them score a bunch of points, and this game gets ugly. So I'll take a Orlando Magic team total over in this one. I think that they'll carry this game over, slightly into the game over, which is rare for me uh with a Orlando game. But I think that
Mhm.
Orlando's going to do all of the scoring.
113.5 is the number right now for the Orlando team total. Portland's at 96.5 in this game. So yeah, I think they do have I think a lot of success, at least around the paint in this game for the
Mhm.
Orlando Magic. Player props, anything looking at?
Seeing somebody in the chat say Paulo 6.5 rebounds. I think the Magic gonna score. I'm probably gonna roll with the top scorers, Franz Wagner or probably Carroll. And like that, I can't get behind Wendell Carter Jr. I would love to. DeAndre Ayton's probably gonna have another solid game. I can get behind DeAndre Ayton rebounds. I've seen somebody say Ayton double double. It was Eddie. Eddie said the Ayton double double. I can get
Mm.
behind the 9.5 minus 140. Probably what is that? A plus money price for his double double? I think that's a pretty solid play. That's probably the best way. Well, minus 135. That's probably the best way that I could play Ayton. But I'm not interested in Ayton points. I'm not interested in Wendell Carter. Banton, however, I'm running back. I'm running Banton back until he sucks. I'm gonna continuously play Banton consistently until he just legitly sucks. But this man comes out here and he'll have a 20-30 point game coming off the bench. Like what?
And he's a 3-point shooter as well, right? I mean, he likes to get him up from
Right, he
the
just had
ceiling.
31 the other night. Like he just had
Yeah.
31 the other night. I'm pretty sure he had. I don't think he had 30 the game before. What game was that? Let me see. Let me go look it up. I know for a
Um,
fact he had 31 the other night. I know he almost had 30
28
before
against the
that.
Rockets.
Yeah, like 28, and then he had 11 rebounds. Come
Yeah.
on, man. I'm all over Banton, bro. This is the best player to come out of Nebraska. Easy, best player.
Yeah, I mean, this Portland team is coming off of a 60
I
point
don't know
loss,
who's come out of
6-0.
Nebraska. Don't anybody take me serious or for. I don't know if somebody really good has come out of Nebraska. I don't keep up with Nebraska, but I will say right now, Banton's the best player to come out of Nebraska. Tomanaka who?
Yeah, I couldn't help you in that coming out of Nebraska either. Um yeah, Portland's coming off that 60-point loss against the Miami Heat on Friday. 142-82 was a score in that game, and they're now on a, I think, 8 game losing streak. So I think it's a team that's pretty much packed it up for the season, and they know it as well. So player props. The only thing I'm worried about is, again, this turns into a blowout, and then if you're playing any overs, at least for the Orlando Magic side, that they end up sitting their guys in that fourth quarter. Chris Murray, maybe aka Chris Humphreys, if you want to look at him for his like points or something like that. I think that the younger guys would
Ooh,
probably get more run because of the lack of bodies that are available for this Portland Trailblazers team, even if it is a blowout, because Chris Murray did play. See, he still played 42 minutes in that game against the Miami Heat, even though they were losing by 60 or pretty much trailing in the entire game. So if you want to look at that, his points props at 9.5 right now. You got anything else for
uh,
this game?
Reggie, I'm talking about Scoot over 4.5 turnovers. I got to write that down for my card later. Last 3 games, 7, 6, 5. 2 games before that, 4-4. With the injuries, he has the ball in his hand a lot. Easy to make turnovers. This Orlando Magic team, very, very good defense. Jalen Suggs, like, hey, I like that look.
Yeah, that's a
Scoot over
great
four
call.
and a
I
half
like that as
turnovers.
well. Yeah,
Shut up,
100%.
Reggie.
Kaysen said Ty Lue out of Nebraska. Is he from Nebraska?
Oh, nah. Give me Benton.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Next game on the schedule. Let's go over to the Memphis Grizzlies. They are in the Motor City here tonight to take on the Detroit Pistons. Currently, as it stands, the Pistons are a 2-point home favorite with a total of 216 in this game. Looking at the injury report for both teams, I'll start here with the Memphis Grizzlies. They are going to be without Desmond Bain, Vince Williams Jr., Zaire Williams, usual suspects. Santi Aldama is questionable here today with an illness, and John Conchar is doubtful here tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. For the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham, questionable. Simon Fontecchio is out. Taj Gibson has been the ultimate journeyman. He is doubtful here tonight. Quentin Grimes is out. Marcus Saucer is questionable. Isaiah Stewart is out. Sir Thompson is out. Let's just go and read who the starting lineup is going to be. I think that'll save us some time here. All right, where are the Detroit Pistons? So it's going to be Jaden Ivey, Troy Brown, God, I'm not even going to try to attempt this guy's name. And then Jalen Duren. And then for the Memphis Grizzlies, it's Scottie Pippen, Luke Kennard, Gigi Jackson, Santi Aldama, Game Time, and then Jaren Jackson. So, I mean, you want to cue up the sound bite for this game here, Terrell?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Hold on. Let me go. Once I find it, I gotta get to it. I wasn't even ready.
Jeez,
Whoa, 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 whoa. There it goes.
Terrible.
Even though I still stamp that Memphis isn't a toilet bowl, but I mean, by wins. This team competes, man. This team competes, even though they just got killed by the Magic. This team competes.
2 points in favor of the Pistons, man. What do you think?
I really need a Pistons win, man. I really, really need a Pistons win here. Shout out to the Pistons for getting me that win as my dog on Friday too. Yeah, shout out to the Pistons for getting that win. Hey man,
That was a come from behind victory too.
Hey man, we only a half game back. We're only a half game back. We need this game. It's hard because both of these two teams are injured to hell. I'm just gonna take. I like Memphis more though. How many games do I have left? If I fade them now, do I have opportunity to still win this bet in another game? Okay, they got the Hawks. I feel good about the Hawks. Oh, they get the Grizzlies again. Oh, okay. They're gonna split this. It's a home and a home. It's a home and home with the Grizzlies. Okay, so if they split with the Grizzlies, we get the Nets on the road. They probably fold that. 76ers, Joel's gonna be in back. There's not even gonna be close. Bulls on the road. Okay, so we might get the Wolves game. Mavericks on the road, no, and Spurs potentially.
Pistons are 1-14 straight up in non-conference home games this season.
I mean, they're like 1-14 straight up in any game this season. What do you mean? Like, I don't know what that was supposed to do. It's not a hedge, but the thing is, I'm not hedging. I just think that Memphis is gonna go out here and win the game because of all the injured teams, Memphis is clearly the better of them. Like, of
and they're
all the
coming off
bad
that 30-point loss.
Yeah, like I'm taking Memphis. I'm taking Memphis. I'm taking the points in the total bowl. I'm gonna do it. I'm really sick. I kind of hope that Memphis doesn't win, but I really think Memphis is gonna get this done.
Yeah, I'm taking the dog here. This Pistons team, I don't know. They got their
I need this win though.
Maybe they get it back on the road against them again, like you mentioned, because they're playing them again on Friday.
Maybe they get it
the
at
Hawks.
Home. Okay, screw it. I'm taking Detroit. They're at home. I'm gonna fade them. I'm gonna fade them when they go on the road. I'm gonna take
Okay.
Detroit here at home, and then I'm gonna fade them when they go on the road. All right. Yeah, Detroit minus 1.5.
Total 216. Anything there?
Under. Too many points. They're not gonna score. Either one of them. Even though they're both pretty bad, I don't think they're gonna score.
Yeah, I'm not touching this game with a 10 football, but I would lean towards the under in this game here with you as well. I think it's gonna be a slow paced game, and these offense. I mean, well, the players that they have on there, especially from
Or
Memphis,
what if this is like the offensive game, and then the next game is the under game, and it goes with the deja vu. Well, it's not even really a deja vu game because they got a game in between, but still,
yeah,
I'm
Memphis is
questioning
allowing
myself. Questioning myself.
Memphis giving up 123 points per game over their last 5 games. That's the most in the league.
Okay, we go over.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed because I want Detroit to win this game so bad. This is the free one. This is the free one of the games left on the schedule. This is the free one, and I want Detroit to do this, and I want them to do it right. But I haven't been able to trust them for 61 games of this season already. I just need. What does Washington's schedule look like? Oh, they got the Bucks tomorrow. Okay, all right. Feel good about that. They have the Bucks tomorrow, so. The very least, if they lose, we hold serve at half a game because I don't think Washington's beating the Bucks tomorrow. I hope they don't beat the Bucks tomorrow.
Well, the thing for you is that the Detroit Pistons have the easiest schedule remaining.
That doesn't mean anything. Haven't had the easy schedule all year.
They have the Spurs, so their only 2 hard opponents are the Sixers and the Mavericks, and then they play the Bulls, the Hawks, the Nets, the Grizzlies twice, like we mentioned, and the Spurs. Versus Washington, like you mentioned, they have games against Boston, Minnesota, Milwaukee, and the Lakers. I think you're in a good spot.
Okay.
Any player props?
Sorry, I was admiring Washington's schedule for the rest of the season. Okay, here we go. Player props. If this goes the way that Memphis has been playing games and they stop playing defense and this is a track meet, then you got to think that Jalen Duren is going to dominate in this game. I mean, yeah, Jerry Jackson Jr., we like him as a shot blocker, rim protector, all of that, but going toe to toe with bigs is sometimes a little different. And Jalen Duren's been really, really good, like since All-Star, really the majority of this season. Like he's just been really, really solid. So I think I'm looking here at a Duren rebounds play. Maybe even a Durham points play, but I'll stick with the rebounds play here to say he dominates the glass versus Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk you off of Jalen Duren rebounds. I mean, he's going off a game against the Wizards where he had 17 boards in that game. I think it was a matchup earlier this season where he had 11 rebounds, only played 30 minutes in that game, but I think he's going to start seeing an uptick in minutes, especially like we talked about the injury report where they don't have a lot of guys available. So, Monty Williams just doesn't have a choice to leave his guys out there. And again, this game looks like it's going to come down to the wire with a 2-point spread here. So yeah, I do like Duren rebounds in this game.
I like GG to score too. I don't think they have anybody to slow GG down at all, actually.
His points prop is at 15.5.
Seriously, like now that I look at it, who's available to actually, like, legitly, if he starts driving to the rim, I mean, I guess maybe Duren, but hopefully he doesn't get in foul trouble. I don't think they have anybody that I think GG has a mismatch in this game. I don't think there's anybody that can guard him. So GG over 15.5. I might end up laddering him. I just got to look into it a little bit more and figure out if that's my play. Let me write that down.
All right. Anything else you got for this game?
No.
All right. Let's get over to, I think, the last game of the night here. No, sorry, 2 more games. We got probably the game of the night here. The Phoenix Suns, they are in New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. Currently, as it stands, the Pelicans are a 1.5-point favorite over the Phoenix Suns. Total is at 223.5. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, start here with the road team, the Phoenix Suns. They are pretty healthy, actually really healthy. Damian Lee is the only one that's on their injury report. Pelicans will be without Jose Alvarado and Brandon Ingram in this game. Huge game for both teams as far as playoff seeding and implications. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
Pelicans are in the sixth spot in the Western Conference, and the Phoenix Suns are in the ninth spot. So 2 games separating these two teams. Could be a lot closer, obviously, if the Phoenix Suns do get it done here tonight. But
And they play at the end of the week as well. They play again on Sunday.
that's a great point. Pelicans 1.5 here, Terrell. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I am. I think I'm going to stick with the Pelicans, man. Oh, it's tough, but ultimately, what it is for me is looking at the past 5 games for the Suns. They have a win against the Hawks. Okay. Win against the Spurs. Okay. A loss against the Spurs. Ooh. Win against the Nuggets, and that was no Murray. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no Jamal Murray in that game.
So okay. And then you get blown out by OKC, no Shea.
Right.
It's such an up and down team, like a very, very up and down team. But New Orleans is a little bit more consistent, and they be competitive in these games. They go and they play an OKC team, and I'm pretty sure Shea played in that game, I believe. And they were competitive all the way down to the wire. They played against Boston. What was that, last night or Saturday?
Saturday.
And
Yeah.
they're competitive throughout the whole game. They get a win against the Bucks. So I think that I'm getting a little bit more consistency with this New Orleans team. This New Orleans team really put themselves on a run to even get in this position, because there was a point where we were just fading this team overall. At home, very, very good at home. Look at them against the spread, 20-16 against the spread at home, 21-15 straight up. I think this is a pretty good situation for this New Orleans Pelicans team. So I'm going to take them laying the short number, 1.5. Probably prefer the money line rather than lay the 1.5 there, but I'll take New Orleans. They've been a little bit better showing. I feel like it's too much inconsistency with this Suns team for me to feel like I want to back them basically on the money line here against the New Orleans team that shows up off home. And the earlier this season, the Suns destroyed this team by like 20 plus or something like that. So this is a nice little get back spot for them. They're playing way, way better ball now. And yeah, CJ's woken up. So I think that this is going to be a pretty solid spot for New Orleans. I like the coaching Willie Green over Frank Vogel here as well. And New Orleans has been solid defensively.
Yeah, I was really torn on this game because, like you mentioned, I think both teams have been really up and down, especially the Phoenix Suns, right? Um, I was watching the Boston game, and Pelicans they came out on fire, right? They dropped 37 points in that first quarter, but after that, it was just guys that just weren't able to make shots. It was pretty much Zion on offense, and then it was a crapshoot on trying to figure out who was going to step up in the next 3 quarters, right? CJ, I know, finished that game with 24 points, but right now it just feels like those two guys are your offense right now. Versus where the Phoenix Suns, like, you have options as far as like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. I mean, you could throw his name in there as well. He's dealing with a finger injury. And Grayson Allen has been absolutely fantastic. I don't think a lot of people want to admit that, and he's kind of been flying under the radar, but he's been huge next to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But I can see this game coming down to the wire. It's definitely going to be a playoff atmosphere. I think both coaches know what's at stake here. So I'll lean here with the Pelicans getting laying the points here at home. Like you mentioned, probably just end up taking the money line. But I think my more favorite play in this game, Terrell, is probably going to be the under, just because I do expect the defenses to be, highly motivated here tonight, because again, we know what's at stake. And they're not playing at a fast pace either, right? And I think for the Phoenix Suns, they've been doing a great job on the defensive side of the basketball. And you just take a look. I think it was a game against, I know it was without Jamal Murray. We talked about that Denver game, but I see something similar to like that type of like final score in that type of game, because right now Phoenix was number 14 as far as defense over the last 5 games. The Pelicans are top 10 and number 7. So I really do like the under in this game. I think that's my favorite play in this game here. That number is currently sitting at 223.5. So I'll take the under on that. Do you have any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I'm with you on the under. Believe it or not, Suns, their team total set at 111.5. They haven't scored that in the past 3 games.
That's
San
wild.
Antonio, Denver, and OKC. in a team with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, they haven't scored 111.5 in the past 3 games.
That's wild.
Yeah,
And that only
under.
helps our case for the
Suns team
under.
total
Yeah.
under. Huh?
I'd say that only helps our case for the under here as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm with you. I'm under. I'm on the under as well. New Orleans has been really, really good defense. New Orleans is a dark horse, man. New Orleans is a dark horse to win it all. Well, not maybe not win it all, but at least make a really, really good run. If we woke up and they're in the Western Conference Finals, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I really wouldn't be surprised. And the best thing for them is that they got to play that Suns team in the playoffs. What was that? 2 years ago? What was that? 2022 when they got that playoff series against the Suns with it was Chris
CP3.
Paul and them. Yeah. And that I think that was the best thing for them because now they have that. Like, just think about what we were thinking about that Kings team last year. Man, if they had that playoff experience, we felt like they could have made some noise. Well, this Pelicans team does have that playoff experience of getting that series under the belt. And they were competitive in that series. I think they went up 2-1 in that series and then proceeded to lose the next 3 straight. But they went up 2-1, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, man. Yeah, this New Orleans team, they're rolling right now. I think they're going to put on a good stretch of games going into the playoffs. So I'll take New Orleans here. And yeah, I like that total player props. I mean, it's still on Grayson Allen.
Yeah,
I think it didn't hit last game too, which makes me feel even better about it now.
Are you looking at his threes or his points?
His threes over 2.5 threes. Trey Murphy's at 2.5 threes as well. Man, just parlay Trey Murphy and Grayson Allen to hit 3 threes and call it a day. They get enough volume. Grayson's been effective.
Yeah.
Trey Murphy's gonna shoot 10 a game. Like, yeah, take those 2 for 3 threes, parlay them together, get you some plus money, call it a day. I like that.
Looking at Nurk's rebounds here. I don't know
Add
what's
the
at
under
9.5.
to it. It's gonna be juice too. You said Nurk rebounds 9.5.
Yeah. He had 15 in the matchup earlier. I think it's probably because of the minutes have kind of diminished for him. I know he's dealing with that ankle injury. So 23 minutes in that game against the Thunder, that turned into a blowout. So only had 3 rebounds in that game. Spurs, he played 19. I think that was the game that he left with the injury. Had 9 rebounds in 19 minutes in that game. I think you and I had him in our Underdog Fantasy entry that night, and we got hooked on that one. So yeah, I'll entertain that at 9.5 for Nurk's rebounds if we do expect this to be a defensive game. And missed shots for both of these teams. Other than that, didn't really like anything else. Do you have anything else as far as player props?
Yeah, man. CJ should cook. He should. He's been really good recently. It was like one game where I think I had bet CJ over 20.5. And I think like in the first, I don't know, majority of the game, he only had like 6 to 8 points. And then he just went on a crazy run and covered the line. He's at 23.5 today. CJ, looking at his past few games, 24, 25, 23, 23, 30. Past 5 games, it's been pretty good production. Stepping up when BI's gone down. Yeah, let's go ahead and roll it. Let me add that to the card. CJ over 23.5 points today.
Yeah, I was looking at his assists that maybe entertained, but I think that number is pretty much spot on for his assists. He's at 5.5. He's
5, 7, 5, 7, 7. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think Zion's been the guy that's also been getting the assists for them, just because he's
there. Former point guard Zion Williamson.
Yeah. Last 2 games he's combined for 6 assists, but part of that he was pretty much getting over the number. But all right, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, last game on the schedule, we've got the Atlanta Hawks. They are in Chicago here tonight to take on the Bulls. Bulls currently sitting as a 2.5 point favorite in this game, with a total currently sitting at 221.5. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, for the Atlanta Hawks, Sadiq Bey is out. Jalen Johnson, I think I just saw a note that he is back today, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me double check. Yeah, it says Jalen Johnson will play today for the Atlanta Hawks. So yeah, Conwell continues to be out. and Trey Young is also out for this game here as well. Chicago, I believe they played yesterday. They are on a back-to-back situation. They did take an L. Oh, sorry, they did go into Minnesota yesterday and actually got the victory 109-101. Now they're traveling back home against the Atlanta Hawks here. What are you thinking about this game here, Terrell?
Well, I would have preferred for them to have lost yesterday, but it's cool. I'm gonna still take Chicago Bulls here on the back-to-back plus travel back at the crib. Team not that's good, just beat who was the 1 seed at the West at the time. Then they dropped to 3 after losing that game, but they were the 1 seed at the time in the West. They just beat the 1 seed in the West, bro. This Hawks team about to go back to not covering. You got your Boston games out the way. You got them out the way. You good. You handled Boston. You got them out the way. Now you back and you playing real teams again. They didn't cover against the Bucks, of course. They're not going to cover here. Give me the Bulls. Get it done. DeMar DeRozan masterclass today.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of the Bulls here. Hawks, I mean, we've talked about all season. They've been the worst team against the spread here. They got
47. They're 20 games under the spread. 20 games. 20 games under 500.
And on the road, let me see here.
12 and 24.
23. Yeah. So yeah, I think again, Chicago is trying to, they're cemented pretty much into that play-in tournament. But I think this is the time where you want to start playing your best basketball, right? And I think that right now for these two teams, I think they're both right now in that play-in tournament bracket. But I mean, I don't trust
both of them are in a play-in tournament is crazy. Like,
yeah,
think of it: 9 and 10 in the East is Chicago and Atlanta. 9 and 10 in the West is the Lakers and Golden State.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the records too, right? 9 and 10 for the Bulls are 3 games under 500. Atlanta 6 games under 500, and in the West, the Lakers are 9 games above 500 for the 9th spot, and the Warriors are 6 games above 500. So it just kind of tells you how competitive the Western Conference is. But I say all that, to be on the Chicago Bulls here. Do you like the over in this game? Both teams have, especially the Hawks, are trending a little bit towards the over after the All-Star break. Let me just double check. Yeah, so 11 and 8 towards the over. And the Bulls on back-to-back situations this season have trended towards the over here as well. 8 and 4, in fact, towards the over in back-to-back situations for the Chicago Bulls. So I do like the over in this game at 221.5. You have anything on the total?
Yeah, let's look at here. Atlanta gave up 122 to the Bucks, 122 to Boston, 106. It was Portland, and then another, 118. I think that this Bulls team is better than Portland. I think they're better than Charlotte. I'm sorry, they're better than Charlotte. And then, of course, they're not at the level of the Bucks or Boston, but this is a home spot. Also, this is for seeding somewhat. Are they? Well, yeah, somewhat for seeding. Teams are pretty close. Yeah, I can get behind a Chicago team total over. I'm just afraid of Chicago defensively just clamping down and not really giving the Hawks any room to move, especially if DeJounte Murray, if they find a way to limit DeJounte Murray, which I mean, I don't think they really have. DeJounte Murray's been going crazy, but yeah, I will take a Chicago team total over 111.5. I feel better about that than over for the full game.
All right. Player props. Anything you're looking at?
Let's see. DeJounte's been good. I told you DeMar DeRozan. Expect to see him do really well today. I feel like I have to be on Vucevic or Drummond rebounds. I mean, Jalen Johnson coming back is going to help with the rebounding aspect, but I feel pretty solid, and maybe Drummond coming off the bench. It'd be fun to back a Drummond rebounds play. What else?
You mentioned DeRozan. I think that again he could have a big game here tonight as well. He's been really good over the last 5 games for the Chicago Bulls, averaging 28 points. He's been really good against the Hawks in general. Last 2 games he's had, let's see here, 25 and 29 this season against them. So I think it's a good spot here again for for DeMar to have a good game. That number is at, let's see here, 26.5. But again, this could be a game where he does have 30 plus points here. I do see Drummond props actually, in fact, listed here.
Yeah, I was looking at that 8.5 rebounds at plus money.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right. Anything else you got?
Nope, let's go.
All right, lock and dog time here for the Monday night card here. Terrell, you want to lead us off?
Alrighty, here for my lock. Man, Orlando is mighty tempting here, even though they're laying 16. Kind of, I mean, gosh, how do they not just steamroll this Portland team? Orlando plays really good defense. Portland doesn't. Orlando's in the playoffs. Portland's not. Orlando has the scoring. Portland sometimes not really. It's more of the game just turns ugly at how they kind of be in games sometimes. I just think that this Orlando team at home is just going to absolutely steamroll over this team, especially after losing those 3 games straight. And, you know, they got the win against Memphis, and that shows me that they're willing to go out there and destroy teams. So, yeah, screw it. Let's roll with Orlando again. This is twice in a row for me. Orlando minus 16 here. I'm actually kind of not worried. Somebody said alt 20. I agree. I think you can get away with that. I'm going back and forth between Orlando team total over and laying the number. I'm just going to lay the number. So 16 for Orlando at home day against Portland Trailblazers. That's a large spread. Very unvillain like. And for my dog, I mean, I could pick up the villainy again and go with Charlotte.
Yeah. You
Very
lay it
good,
one way,
very
you
much
take
good.
you take the big money line for
Whoa,
your dog.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
I caught
whoa,
myself there.
whoa. Whoa. No Diddy, sir. No Diddy. Wow. That was insane. All right, let's go back to what I was doing before I was interrupted with the monstrosities there for my dog. I kind of really feel good about the Pelicans today, which is horrifying. But I just can't trust the Suns team right now. And I think people are blindly thinking they can trust the Suns laying a short number, and you can't. So let's get a little bit of a performance double going on here. CJ's been really good recently. Let's take his points prop and let's bump it up a little bit. CJ 25 plus and New Orleans to win plus 225.
All right. I like that. All right. For my lock, let's see. I just think I'm just gonna stay in that same game because I really like the under in this game for the Suns and the Pelicans. I mean, we talked about it, right? Pelicans top 10 in defense. It should be a playoff atmosphere. You mentioned how Phoenix has been struggling on the offensive side, and they haven't scored more than 110 points of their last 3 games. But they're also locked in defensively, which I do like about the Phoenix Suns. So, yeah, give me the under as my lock in this game. The Phoenix Suns and the New Orleans Pelicans under 223.
I really like that play too.
Yeah. For my dog, Jalen Duren's been really good to me, man. I think I'm just gonna ladder his rebounds again. He had 17 in the last game. Lack of available front court depth, we should say, for the Detroit Pistons. So pretty much just tells me it's gonna be the Jalen Duren show. And this game looks like the books are expecting it to come down to the wire. So I'm just gonna go back to the Jalen Duren rebounding prop here. Let me see if I can find his alt rebounds here. So 13.5 is at plus 130, and then we ladder it up from there. So we go to 15 plus rebounds is going to be plus 185. If you're able to continue that ladder up to 17, I think that you'll get a nice price there for his rebounds here tonight. So yeah, we'll ladder from 14 up to 15, 16, all the way up to 17. Get you some nice plus money odds for Jalen Duren rebounds here for tonight as my dog. Underdog time. UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. First deposit bonus of up to $100. Again, using that promo code NBA SGPN. All right, Terrell, where do we want to start here? You want to start with our two guys, CJ and Jalen, or you want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, let's see here. Let's go to Pick'em here. Let's go pregame. And let's go NBA. All right, so CJ is at 23.5.
Yep.
Let me just search for it. CJ. Okay. NBA. CJ. Do they not have CJ listed? I thought I just saw it.
An underdog? Yeah, I see him.
Pregame. Okay, I have to hit pregame instead of in-game. All right, there we go. All right, so 23.5 for CJ McCollum. Go higher on that. Jalen Duren will go higher on his rebounds of 12.5. Where else do we want to go for our last one? You want to go GG?
Oh yeah, I can get down GG. Pause.
All right, so GG's at 15.5. We'll go higher on that. All right, pretty simple. We'll go higher CJ McCollum, 23.5 points. Jalen Duren higher, 12.5 rebounds. And then we'll go GG Jackson of the Memphis Grizzlies higher, 15.5 points. That $10 entry will get you a return of $60 over on UnderdogFantasy.com. Again, make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. First deposit bonus of up to $100 for new account users. If you already have an account and you're in a legal state and of legal age, get your coworkers, family, friends involved. Come join us on UnderdogFantasy.com. Again, NBA SGPN. All right, Terrell, that's going to wrap it up, my friend, for this edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
Hey, man. Y'all know I love these shows, but hey, heart goes out to what's his name? Chance Perdomo from Gen V. He died in a motorcycle accident. Gen V is a great show. If you watch The Boys, you gotta watch Gen V. And if you don't watch The Boys, you gotta watch The Boys. Especially, it's like some dark. It's very, very dark. I will get to. It's very, very dark. It ain't for the kids, all that. But very, very good show. So one of these star actors, Chance, died this weekend. Hearts go out to his family in a motorcycle accident. But very, very good show. Gotta check out the show. And the show is now indefinitely delayed because he died. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, rest in peace, Sam. Thoughts and prayers to his family. That's obviously always a tough situation.
What, bro? He was young too, bro. He is a kid. He's a kid.
Yeah, man. That's rough. Tomorrow, same time, same place as usual. Myself and Scott for the Tuesday games. We'll recap what we saw in the association on Monday. So look out for us. Then make sure you follow Terrell on Twitter and Instagram. That's at reallyrail__. And follow me on Twitter there as well at SportsNerd824. More importantly, make sure you guys are subscribed to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube channel. And you can follow us on Twitter as well at SGPNNBA. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Appreciate everybody in the chat. It's a lot of fun interacting with you guys. I can't do these shows without y'all, so I appreciate you guys not only today, but all season long as we gear up for the playoffs. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.